This is not a drunken explain. It's just your day off so you can day drink.
I know, it's great.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel with Josh.
Hello!
Once again, I have dragged him away from video games to film this with me, so be nice to him, as you always are.
Yay!
And we are doing another Let's Get Quizical, and hopefully this one won't make him as angry as last time.
Which one? Oh, the lame is... Oh wait, was it the lamest one?
No, it was the one where I sang ours at you and you were like really mad.
Can we get a flashback on that real quick?
We're gonna have a flashback on that.
I don't think I was that angry.
You were, yeah.
Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? You couldn't have just gone straight into the tell me things in the next lyric?
Well, the next lyric is ah.
Are you fucking...
Ah.
Really? Oh, you're joking. Who... Anyway,
hopefully this won't be like that, because today we are doing Guess the Plot.
Yes.
So Josh, I'm going to tell you the title of a musical. If you get it right, great. If you get it wrong, I'll tell you the plot.
cool.
Nice. In my descriptions of the plots, I'm gonna try not to spoil, but like I can't control what comes out of his mouth, and
Spoiler alerts.
you know,
Potentially.
I will put timestamps in the description so that if you don't want to know what the show's plot is, you can skip that show. We've got our trusty... What is this called?
Post-it notes.
We've got our trusty post-it notes to keep score. And I've got my plots. No peeking.
I'm not peeking.
I feel like I should just be sponsored by the musical at this point. Show number 1 is Ragtime. What do you think the plot of Ragtime is?
I've never seen Ragtime.
You've never seen
I'm
any
surprised.
of these. I'm telling
Okay.
you, you've never seen any
So
of these.
this isn't really a quiz, this is just judging by the cover, basically, isn't it?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so I'm guessing that Ragtime, the first
Okay.
thing it could be, is about a clock that's fallen upon hard times. You know, it's a very poorly dressed clock, hence the
What,
name
so it's
Ragtime.
like Cogsworth the Poor Years?
I'm guessing that's not what it is.
No, it's not at all.
Okay, fair enough. The other thing Ragtime could be about is a rags to riches story of a plucky underdog who gets out of the heights or out of the projects and is moving up in the world.
Okay, firstly, do you know what Ragtime actually is?
No.
No, not as in the show, as in like the word Ragtime.
No.
Okay, that explains how you're completely, yeah. Secondly, your rags to riches thing is actually kind of part of the plot.
Oh, cool.
It follows 3 different groups of people. So you have
Are any of them clocks?
None of them are clocks.
Okay.
No.
I
My
would
dream
go-
role is not a clock. Basically, it follows 3 groups of people. So you've got like the rich white people, which are kind of exemplified in the character Mother. Then you've got the African American community in Harlem, so that's exemplified by Colehouse Walker Jr. and Sarah. And then you've got the Eastern European immigrants, which is kind of exemplified by Tate. Tate
Okay.
is the one who kind of has the rag to riches story. I'm gonna give you 0.3 recurring points for
Woo!
that. 0.3, exactly a third points. Yeah, so that is the plot of Ragtime. Number 2, Annie Get Your Gun. What do you think Annie Get Your Gun is
That's
about?
the one with anything you can do, I can do better in it.
It is,
It's like one of the songs from it. I love how condescending that was. It is, yeah, well done, John!
Okay, whoa. I didn't, alright, full disclosure, take away my musical theatre card if you want. I didn't realise that song was from that show until I read it in the thing.
Card.
I
Even I knew that.
left it in my other trousers.
Okay, again, 2 options here.
Okay.
The first option is, I think, the general plot is that Annie is, you know, she's got to collect an order from her local Second Amendment store. So she needs to get from one side of the town to the other whilst getting past a whole bunch of gun regulations people and a whole bunch of Second Amendment people. And at the end she has to decide if she's going to collect this gun she's paid for. That's my first guess.
That's wrong.
Okay, fair enough. In that case, I'm guessing Annie Get Your Gun is about someone who lives on either on a ranch or on the range. She's got someone who's, you know, coming around saying, you're a woman, you can't wrangle the cattle or look after the land or run the establishment. She's going, I absolutely can do that. And then I assume hijinks ensues and ends with either him going, Annie, you're all right, and she goes, yeah, I am. And or they get married because it's still the 40s.
You're right with the marriage.
I knew it!
And you're kind of right with the whole I can shoot things and I'm not girly. I don't know if it's close enough for a point, because you've missed like the main plot. All I wrote in my notes was a chick likes shooting things and apparently that leads to show business.
Okay, so it feels like my first one was a better story for Annie.
Kind of. This dude has a bet that like Frank could lose a shooting thing and finds out that Annie's really good at shooting, so it's like, hey Annie, can you do this for me? And hijinks ensue, not to like spoil it, but that's like the main premise
And
of it.
hijinks ensues.
Yeah.
Welcome to...
I mean, by hijinks I mean bankruptcy, but...
Okay.
But, yeah.
Otherwise it goes like, and we all have fun. No, she's getting foreclosed upon.
Number 3 is Floyd Collins.
Is it about Floyd Collins?
You're gonna have to elaborate, dear.
Is it about Floyd Collins, again, going from penniless musical to massive star?
No.
Musician?
No.
Boxer?
No.
Some kind of unspecific career path, which through a series of...
I'm sorry. Unspecific career path does not get you points in this dojo. Do you give up at this point? You don't have a flying fudge of a clue.
Don't. All I can
who
say
he
is, I guess the plot of Floyd Collins is it starts off with him as a bit of an underdog trying to make his way in an unfeeling, uncaring world, and through hard work and determination, surrounded by the friends he makes along the ways and overcoming the adversity he faces, he overcomes the situation and triumphs, and/or is brought down by the hubris of his own failings that he is unable to come to terms with, and ultimately falls down into a pit that he cannot come out of at the end of the show, but the lessons are learned by the audience, if not by our protagonist.
You kind of accidentally got there.
So, do I get a point? Accidentally hitting the bullseye, still hitting the bullseye.
You didn't hit the bullseye. It was just a phrase you said where I'm like, do you realise what you're saying right now? I'm not going to give you a point, but you know what? For sheer ballsiness, I'm going to give you half a point.
Oh, thanks.
You now have 0.83 recurring
Thanks.
points.
So, just really quickly, was it the phrase I said about him being brought down by his own hubris?
Kind of. A little bit later than that, you said if he falls into a dark pit.
Oh, he falls into a dark pit from which he cannot return.
You're going too metaphorical here. I was thinking more literally.
Oh, he literally falls into a dark pit. As in, he literally falls down a hole.
Basically.
What's that, lassie? Floyd's fallen down a well?
It's about this guy who is trying to find a cave to open up to tourists and he gets stuck.
Oh.
Number 4, The Phantom of the Opera.
Okay, I should actually know this one, even though I've never seen it. So, The Phantom of the Opera takes place in the titular opera house, and it's being run. The whole place is owned by someone who no one knows. He's the Phantom, and there's a new starlet, I think, who joins the opera company that he's really keen to push, and he wants to see her on stage more. But the guys who are actually directing the opera aren't really. They're not keen, or they've got someone else in mind. And all I know is there's a chandelier that flies in over the audience, which apparently is really cool if you've never been to the theatre before. And then the opera house burns down, and the Phantom ostensibly dies in. Oh yeah, he's in love with this new young actor, but she doesn't really think much of him. Finds him kind of scary, which is fair. And I think he writes a song for her, or writes some music for her specifically, but it doesn't really. But that's he does that for her. But then obviously she falls on someone else, and he's raging. And then the opera house burns down, and then he ostensibly dies in it, but she escapes with the other dude, so the dude comes back to pull her out. Something along those lines.
You know what? I'm going to give you a point for that. That was pretty accurate.
Thank you.
So now you are on 1.83 recurring points out of 4. Yay! Okay, number 5. The last 5 years.
Is it about what happened in the last 5 years? And were the last 5 years formative for the development of someone going from a state of, metaphorical child to metaphorical adult? And at the end of the whole thing, they look back at the last 5 years and think, wow, haven't I come a long way? But if it's about a group of people, collectively overcoming these things, they all go back and go, wow, we've come a long way in the last 5 years.
Apart from the whole time span of the show being 5 years, that is absolutely wrong.
Oh, shit. I'm not going to say, is it about lumberjacks? Because that would be... It could be. It could be.
Why would it be about lumberjacks?
Well, I don't know, Michaela. Why is a musical called Wicked about someone who's ostensibly good? I don't know.
Okay. What I've written in my notes, ladies and gentlemen, is about a doomed 5-year relationship where everyone hates Kathy, but if you think about it for half a second, Jamie is actually freaking terrible. My hot take. Also, the hot take of a director we worked with whilst we were at RAM who actually directed this show and knows Jason Robert Brown personally and directed it like working with him. Spoilers if you don't know the show at all, but basically it tells the story of their 5-year relationship, Kathy and Jamie, but Kathy's is told in reverse and Jamie's is told the right way round. What's that called? Chronological order versus reverse chronological order. I forgot to do the shows of the week again. Yeah. Show of the week are all of these shows. Shows! Check them out. Number 6 is Parade.
I feel like I should know this one. Is it about a parade?
It's not about a parade, no.
Oh, then why is it called Parade?
Because the inciting incident in the show takes place around a parade.
I was just going to ask, does it have something to do with Malcolm X?
No.
Okay.
It's set in like 1913. So it's based on a true story and it's about the trial, conviction and lynching of a Jewish man, Leo Frank, who was accused and convicted, although it's very sketchy whether he was guilty or not, convicted of the murder of a worker at the factory that he was a manager of, this 13-year-old girl. The parade that it's set around is the Memorial Day parade, which kind of celebrates, or no, it doesn't celebrate, like it memorializes the South losing the
Civil
War, thank you. So it's all about the racism, anti-Semitism, anti-Northern sentiment at that time. You get no points. I think you've just resigned yourself now, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm just going to come up with the most facetious examples based on the plot. Unless I know. But
is it interesting learning about the plots of these shows?
It is.
Good.
It is.
So number 7, Spring Awakening.
I actually know the play of this.
Well then you might get a point. Tell me the plot of the play. Go on.
So the plot of the play is largely centered around a group of, I think they're young adults or teenagers. Some of them are quite young, some of them are a little bit older.
Okay.
And a lot of it's about sexual awakening and burgeoning desire in a very sheltered, very Christian household. I know there's the 2 boys who find out they're in love with each other, and obviously that's a big no-no, so they have to keep that hidden. Then there's the girl who's comes from a really sheltered background, and I think I remember the line of the play is like, you can't kiss unless you're in love. And I think she ends up basically getting raped, but it's not really that clear in the play. She ends up pregnant. I can't remember if the boy who does it is revealed to be the father to everyone in the show, but I know that he knows that he's done it. And then there's the other one that I think gets out or is sent away to boarding school. I can't remember precisely which one that is, but that's what I remember from Spring Awakening.
I'm gonna basically give you the point because the play and the musical, as far as I remember, track really, really closely. Well done.
Yay.
Number 8. You're not gonna know this.
Okay, go on.
The Drowsy Chaperone.
No. Okay, can I have 2 guesses?
You can have 2 guesses.
Okay, so first,
you can have as many guesses as you want.
Okay, so my first guess, is it about a rather lively person, nanny or au pair or someone who's really on it, but is either drunk or drugged or otherwise distracted from their job and something terrible happens to the kids?
You're not thinking of a chaperone, you're thinking of an au pair. It's not the drowsy au pair.
Okay, fair enough. In that case, is it about a bodyguard that's really bad at his job and ultimately the person in their care has to spend more time looking after themselves? It's not that either.
It's not that either.
So then the other thing, is it the drowsy chaperone who just really wants the person?
Alright, I'll give you a clue. The plot isn't really about the drowsy chaperone.
Oh, so is it about the person in their care escaping and going off on wild adventures full of danger and adversity?
No.
Okay, I give up.
Okay, so what I'm annoyed at myself.
I give up.
I'm annoyed at myself for not writing more notes on the plot of this. What I wrote is, a man listens to a recording of a musical and it all gets a bit farcical.
How does that have anything to do with it? That doesn't sound very...
So basically, right, there's a guy, he's listening to a made-up musical called The Drowsy Chaperone. Then we go into the world of The Drowsy Chaperone. It's these like two people are getting married, but for some reason someone else wants them to break up, and there's a chaperone that's meant to be keeping them apart before the wedding, but the chaperone is drowsy, so the chaperone falls asleep. The woman dresses up in disguise to try and figure out if the husband really loves her by pretending to be like this French maid, but then because she reminds him so much of his fiance, he ends up kissing her, and she's like, the wedding's off!
A few moments later.
She can't quit, because then, I don't, like, the mafia will break my legs or something. I don't think that's the reason, but it's like... it's really farcical. At some point, there's an Italian person, I think. Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Sounds it.
So you get no points.
What a surprise! What a surprise.
Number 9 is Next to Normal.
Next to Normal. Is it a very poorly thought through attempt to sequelize Frankenstein?
No.
Okay. Is Next to Normal anything to do with the actual action in the play, or is it a metaphorical title?
I'd say it's on the cusp. It is kind of metaphorical because it's not overtly people trying to be normal, but it does deal with issues where normality has been thrown off kilter. So it's like next to normal because it's not quite normal, but people are trying to be.
Okay, so in that case, is it about an individual and or group of people with a situation after an inciting incident causes their lives to change ever so drastically, but ultimately the day-to-day of it feels very much the same, but with the metaphorical elephant in the room, throwing everything ever so slightly out of whack, but ultimately they learn along the way how to cope with their new surroundings until the thing that changed their life so much and made them grow as people is taken away once again.
I'm tempted to give you half a point because you said like elephant in the room.
Is there an actual elephant in the show?
There's not an actual elephant, but there's definitely an elephant in the room with regards to the main character. I'm going to give you half a point.
Yay.
So it's what I've written here is it's about a mother not dealing with grief very well.
Oh.
Spoilers, the mother character, I think her name's Diane, is trying to come to terms with the death of her son, and she sees him. That is a big spoiler, sorry. Okay. So he's the elephant in the room. So yeah, that's Next to Normal. And finally, I'll be surprised if you're not able to hazard a guess at this one. 9 to 5.
I mean, I know it's a Dolly Parton musical, isn't it?
It is the Dolly Parton musical.
So in that case, I mean, obviously I'm going to guess it's all about blue-collar living then, isn't it? And very much about having to noses to the grindstone day in, day out. Is it not?
It's not about blue-collar living at all.
That's very surprising.
Because blue collar's like manual labour, isn't it?
Blue collar's like working class people.
I wouldn't say it's specifically about blue-collar living. Like, class isn't really brought up that much. Apart, I guess like Dora Lee, maybe a little bit, but yeah, it's not a major theme of the show. Do you want to carry on guessing?
Well, if it's that 9 to 5 again, is it about clocks?
No.
Why are there no musicals about clocks, Michaela? Why
don't you write it, Josh?
Because I can't write music.
Well, you can write plays. So you write the book, I'll write the music. Well, like, after Raid Shadow Legends the musical premieres, we'll do Clocks the musical.
Brilliant, we're going to do Clocks the musical.
Great.
It's going to be about clocks.
But going back to the quiz,
I feel like I deserve a point for that.
You can have a bonus point for that.
Yay!
Because you definitely have got like next to no points without it. So going back to 9 to 5, seriously now, it's not about clocks. What do you think it's about?
I'm guessing that there's a lot of family business in there.
Not really.
Really?
No.
Okay, this really threw me because I would have thought that Dolly Parton, country and western singer, her whole shtick would have very much been a blue-collar living, working 9 to 5, cocks to the grindstone, day in, day out, the daily grind.
It is a little bit, but like think more the song and think #feminism.
Oh, so it's all about boss babes then, basically.
Alright, imagine women in a man's world.
Oh, so it's about Margaret Thatcher.
You know what, you don't get a point.
I tried so
You
hard.
tried. I gave you so many opportunities.
But the fact is, you didn't though.
I did!
But
I basically told you what the plot was.
Okay, so it's a woman in a man's world. Woman in a man's world, working 70s. Is it about a woman working twice as hard as all the men around her whilst they put her down for being a woman?
You know what? I'm gonna give you half a point for that.
Thank you.
To be honest, the aspect that would get you the full point is so silly. There's no way you would be able to guess it without kind of knowing.
Oh wait,
the
they
show.
take someone hostage in that show, don't they?
Okay, you got a point. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, you got there. So what I wrote in my notes is 3 girl bosses doing stupid sizzle no girl boss would do. So you've got the woman who's been working there and she's trying to get that promotion. She's a hard worker. She can do it better than all the men, but because she's a woman, she's not getting that promotion and she's annoyed. You've got the new chick, I think her name is like Violet, who is her first ever job because she was married and didn't need a job, but then her husband cheated on her with his secretary and she literally knows nothing.
Oh dear.
Boss bitch lady who should be the boss bitch is kind of like helping her. And then you've got Dora Lee, who is basically the Dolly Parton insert.
Cool.
So yeah, so insert Dolly Parton is basically the sexy office worker who wants to be a country singer, who everyone is assuming is sleeping with the boss, but she isn't actually sleeping with the boss. So everyone hates her until they realize she's not sleeping with the boss, and then they're like, men are horrible. They make a joke about murdering their boss, and then think they've actually murdered their boss because they had to buy rat poison for a rat infestation, and then they thought that they put the rat poison in the coffee. But then it turns out that they didn't murder their boss, so they end up having to kidnap their boss and tying the boss up in their house. And so boss lady ends up being the boss for a while and is really good at it. And I can't really remember how it ends. It's weird. So, at the end of that, including your bonus point, which I can't remember what I gave your bonus point for.
Clocks the musical.
Clocks the musical. You got 5.3 recurring out of 10.
Yay!
How do you feel?
Average!
Slightly above average.
Above average! No, that falls into the spectrum of average.
Average!
Woo! Well, that's better than I normally do. Normally it's distinctively below.
So, that was Josh trying to guess the plot given only the title of the musical.
Indeed.
And he got a decent score, I think.
Woo!
I was proud of you.
And we also came up with Clocks the musical.
We also came up with Clocks the Musical, which is beautiful.
If you want to see that happen, if we can get 1,000 likes on this video, then we will make Clocks the musical.
Thank you to Josh, as always, for coming on. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. Would love to have you on this channel. Come on down, like and subscribe. It would be great. Stay tuned for more theatre content from a UK perspective, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, friends.
Goodbye.
High five. Bam!